meantime, the story's all about Micron.
Focus back on Micron.
Yeah, I mean, it's the story of the morning, just considering how much some of the chip makers had sold off earlier in this week, where Micron comes back and is like, don't worry, guys, we got this. It's cool. They reassure investors that demand is strong for the near future. Analysts say that this earnings is the best visibility into semis and believe that supply shortages mean that an AI bubble will not burst in 2026. And we're going to talk to Jake Silverman about this in a moment. But margins, they're predicting 86%. Apple has to hike the prices of all their things. The AI trade having big ripple effects.
Yeah, I'm excited to look at the EEO function on the Bloomberg to see if they're trading now at 11 or even 12 times forward earnings. Qualcomm also lifting risk sentiment after forecasting $15 billion in annual data center related sales by 2029. The CEO, Christian Amon, says custom chips for everyday items like smartphones are a huge opportunity, and Qualcomm is up 8% in the pre-market, Danny.
Let's get more into Micron. Revenue beating expectations by 16%. Only just slightly higher than what Bloomberg Intelligence analyst Jake Silverman estimated. But Jake was already very bullish. His thesis comes true, and Jake joins us now. Jake, again, it's this 86% margin that they're forecasting. I mean, do they just have the ability to have high prices, and whether you're Apple or you're NVIDIA or one of the hyperscalers, you must pay?
I mean, it's all pricing power, yeah. I mean, when you look at gross margins, we're so far beyond historical precedent at this point. It's kind of a question of how high can they really go. You know, we do think that the margin growth will start to dampen a bit because they're starting to sign these long-term contracts, like they mentioned, average about 3 years, $100 billion of minimum contracted value. And so, you know, really the margin story, though, it's all pricing, and it continues to be pricing because unit growth is just limited. There's capacity constraints in the entire industry, and so they're unable to ship as many bits as the market demands, and that's just going to drive pricing up.
How much longer? I mean, when you start seeing margins that are nearing all, right? I imagine more competitors will want to build capacity as well. So that's going to come on quickly.
Well, the problem is that there's just a long lag time between when you can actually build this capacity and when it starts to actually have wafers coming out of the fab. I mean, it can take up to 3 years. I mean, if you try to build these fabs really fast, maybe you can get under that 3-year mark. But still, I mean, if AI demand continues to accelerate, even with some demand destruction potentially on PCs, smartphones, consumer-related products, there's not really any specific supply alleviation that's going to come in the next 2 years. So, I mean, our view is that at least through 2027, probably into 2028, we're going to see pricing increases. But we're also probably not going to see 60, 80% quarter-over-quarter growth. Probably going to start to decelerate at a pretty rapid clip. Doesn't mean that we won't see upward revisions in that period, though.
Even so, again, NVIDIA's best quarter ever for their margins was 77%. So it's like even blown that out of the water. And I just wonder how much you look at that and say that's just bad news for a lot of other people. Like surely for the hyperscalers when they're building out data centers, this is taking up the lion's share of their budgets.
Yeah, I mean, look, if they're increasing their margins, Micron and peers, someone's paying that margin, right? And so as long as pricing continues to increase, hyperscalers, other customers, I mean, if you're buying an iPhone today, I think they made an announcement this morning about MacBooks and other products. You're going to have to pay up for that as well. And Apple's trying to protect their margins, which unfortunately comes out of our pocketbooks, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, hyperscalers have to pay. I think the reason that they're signing these contracts, though, is because they want some pricing stability. It doesn't mean that pricing won't increase, but at least they have an idea of how many bits can we actually lock in through 2030, for example, and on top of that, what pricing are we actually going to pay within some sort of band? So they kind of have an idea, get a little bit more comfortable with some of these pricing agreements long term.
Okay, Jake, thank you very much for joining us. Yeah, Apple increasing. I think it's a 20% increase across their products and prices. Bloomberg Intelligence analyst Jake Silverman.